Hi, everybody. I'm Bella, and I'm a voice trauma integration specialist, which is a nice way of saying I'm a trauma informed voice teacher. And I was doing some research this morning I was trying to find some studies that could back up all the things that I talk about, how singing can help heal trauma. I know this is a real thing, but I'm on the lookout for scientific studies that can back me up because you know how it is. So I found this one study and I thought it was very interesting, a point that I read in the results section that some of the people who participated in the study, by the way, the study involved people who were adults and had PTSD from extremely traumatic childhoods. They were in a project where they sang in a choir for several weeks and they measured their responses, their stress responses, and how they felt about their trauma throughout the process. And something I found very interesting was that at the beginning, some of these people were very nervous about singing in the choir. They were actually concerned that singing would trigger their PTSD. I was surprised by this at first. And then I thought about it and I thought, well, actually, I can see where that might be a fear for some people. And the reason why I was able to understand it after a moment is because music is like this portal. It's more like a time machine. It's a time machine portal. As soon as you listen to a song that was significant at any point in your life, it's like you flash back to that moment in time. Whenever a song is playing during a significant moment of your life, like a graduation, a birthday, a holiday, or if there's something tragic that happened in your life and there was a hit song on the radio that was playing everywhere, whenever you hear that song, it is likely to flash you back to that time. And so I can understand why people actually avoid all kinds of music when they are dealing with a history of complex trauma in their life. I can totally understand this. And so I can see why somebody would be hesitant to join I want to say experiment, a study where they are actually volunteering to participate in regular singing for fear of bringing up their PTSD responses. But I want you to know that this study produced the results I knew it would. I don't personally need to see studies to verify the claims I'm making about how singing can help you work through your trauma. I know it's real. I know firsthand, and I've watched my own students go through this as well. But as you would expect, the study produced really positive results where the singers in the study, or the people in the study who chose to sing actually felt much relief from their PTSD symptoms. Their stress levels came down, and the act of singing in community did something to regulate their nervous system. So I'm bringing this up now because perhaps there's been a time in your life where you avoided singing. And I want you to think about that right now. I want you to think about it and write about it. So I'm bringing this up to bring it to your attention. And I'm also immediately going into an exercise portion. You know, I like to add exercises. Start to think about times in your life. Maybe you're living in that time right now, or maybe you just got out of that time where you avoided music, whether listening to certain kinds of music or producing the music on your own. I was thinking about this myself the other day, and I'll tell you, I've mentioned that I was a classical music student, and I went to a pretty intense high school for the arts. It was no joke. And to be fully transparent with you, it's been in the spotlight for negative reasons over the last couple years. There has been a stream of controversies that have come to light surrounding teachers at my high school a place I was very proud to attend. But when I started reading the news articles about this school, I started thinking about my own experiences. And I remembered that for a long time, I avoided certain types of music, styles of music I loved when I was a student, but it would trigger these very uncomfortable feelings in me. Classical music is the main genre I worked with at that school. And I noticed the other day when I went to go play piano and I wanted to play some classical music, I had this flash of memory about how just a year ago I found it very difficult to practice classical music because my own voices of self censorship and my own self critic became so inflamed that I couldn't even enjoy the process of playing music. And I think that may be part of what stops people from enjoying the process of making music. Now, I've said a lot of things here. You may struggle to make music because it triggers your own PTSD responses, and that could be for a variety of reasons. You could have had an education where sometimes the instruction was quite oppressive, or the music might just remind you of something that is related to the traumatic experiences you had. Either way, my journal prompt for you is to write about it. Reflect on this topic and write as much as you can about it. And then try to imagine what a world would be like if you were no longer triggered by this. And then my exercise for you is challenge yourself. This is going to be hard, I'm not going to lie to you. Challenge yourself to sing something that is triggering for you. As you write about this, try to discover what types of music trigger you, and then choose something from that era and sing it. Or if you're not a singer, identify the music that triggers you in that time period and listen to it, and try to listen to it with an open mind, with an understanding, a compassionate understanding that it is going to trigger you, and breathe through it. Try to get through the act of listening and try to remember what you liked about that music once upon a time. And then continue to write. If this is really heavy for you and this is really hard, remember your self-care routines. Maybe go for a walk afterwards, or maybe do this exercise when you know you're going to see somebody that you love afterwards. If it's really heavy, you can watch a favorite TV show. But the only way out of trauma is through. I'm not a believer in avoiding it. I think if something that you once loved triggers you, it's important to find a way to work through it. So don't be afraid. Do your best. Try to be compassionate with yourself. And if this resonates with you and you can relate to this, please share your experience in the comments. It's really helpful to know that those of us who have experienced this kind of trauma and this stuckness around the voice, that we're not alone, and that there are so many people who are really working hard to overcome these emotional habits, these habitual patterns in the body that really want to be worked through. They want to be dealt with. Ignoring the problem is not going to make it go away. So I encourage you to keep going. I hope this helped you. And I will definitely be looking forward to making the next video for you. And don't forget to subscribe and share this with anybody who you think might be helped. Have a good day.